yin yoga practice. I have a bolster that I will be using into the poses. You're not necessarily going to need a bolster. If you don't have one, no worries. You can get a couch pillow, or you can get several bed pillows to stack one on top of the other. I also have a blanket here that I just use at the very end for Shavasana to wrap up in, but that's not necessary. So I said earlier that with my yin yoga practice, I like to use a theme for my class. And for the theme of my classes today at the studio and here in this yin yoga class is the idea of finding joy in all moments of your life. And right now we are going through the holiday season, and finding joy is most especially important, not just during the holiday season, but throughout life. We have a lot of struggles that you may be going through, a lot of ups and downs, roller coaster ride in life, but learning how to find the joy through all the ups and downs in order to learn and to grow from your experiences. So we're going to get started here in this seated, comfortable position, crossing the legs and bringing your hands into your lap. Now your palms can be facing upwards towards the ceiling to be more receptive to the practice, or if you need to be more grounded and to find more peace and stillness, bring your palms to face down. But close your eyes here, finding length in the spine, sitting up nice and tall, and begin to deepen the breath. And on your exhales, try to exhale even slower than your inhales. As you breathe in, I want you to imagine breathing in the word joy. Even if it feels fake, breathing in this word joy. Maybe you're going through a lot in your life right now and you don't feel that you're experiencing a lot of joy. Or maybe you feel that joy is hard to experience or near impossible. Breathe in the word joy anyways. And just notice what thoughts arise. Notice what feelings arise as you breathe in this word. If at any point you notice that your awareness is drifting, guide the awareness back to the breath, back into the present moment. We're going to come into our very first yin yoga pose. It's going to be a butterfly. So slowly open the eyes and bring the soles of the feet to touch. Sit up tall. Now, bring the feet further away from the groin to create this very tall diamond shape with the legs. Melt the shoulders down away from the ears. On your next exhale, begin to hinge at the hips. Continue to hinge until you find your edge. Don't go so deep in this pose. And then allow your chin to come towards your chest. Now you can stay dangling here, or maybe you take a pillow and put it under the chest, on top of the legs, so you can be able to have some support. I prefer to dangle in this pose, but we're going to be here for a couple of minutes. So close your eyes, deepen the breath. And return to that word, joy.
Breathing in deeply. Exhaling slowly. Relax the body and allow gravity to do the rest of the work. Very slowly beginning to walk the hands back up towards the body. Take your time here. Rise. Bring your hands behind you and bring the soles of the feet onto the mat. And the feet are going to be wide as you windshield wiper the knees side to side. Take your time. We're going to come into a spinal twist. So the next time that your knees fall to the right, keep them there. Walk your hands, sit up tall, and bring your left hand to the right knee. Your right hand plants down behind you. Keep both of your feet flexed to protect your knees. Inhale, sit taller. And exhale, twist a little deeper. Setting the gaze over the right shoulder. And we're going to come back to windshield wipers. Plant the hands behind you. Windshield wiper side to slide. Go slow. And then the next time the knees fall to the left, keep them there, feet flexed. Sit up tall. Bring that right hand to the left knee and twist to the left. Each inhale, sit a little taller. Exhale, twist a little deeper. Bringing the hands back behind you. Windshield wiper side to side. One more time. Now the next time that your knees fall to the right, keep them there and sit up tall. This time you're in what we call a deer pose. So your right leg is going to be parallel to the top of the mat if you're facing the top of your mat. And the left leg is going to be parallel to the long side of the mat. I want you to look at your left knee and try to see, can you get it in line with the hip? It's okay if not. If it doesn't feel good, don't do it. Let's just see if you can. See how it feels. Now keep your feet flexed here.
We're going to come into a deer pose. And I like to use my bolster for the deer pose. So I'm going to take the short end of the bolster and have it right directly in front of my right leg. So from here, sitting up nice and tall, begin to hinge at the hips, walking your hands forward. Noticing the stretch in the right hip as you fold forward. Now, you'll notice here that my chest, I've hinged as far as I want to go. Chest is floating above the pillow here, the bolster. So I'm going to turn it to make the bolster a little taller. Now, maybe you want to go deeper. You can always walk your hands to the left. Continuing to walk the hands to the left and hinging between the legs or over the left leg. I'm going to hang out right here. Once you find where you want to stay, remember, we don't want to go too deep in these poses. We want to find the edge. Allow gravity to do the rest of the work. Close your eyes. Come back to that word joy. Breathing in deeply and exhaling slowly. And as you breathe in here, breathing in the affirmation, I choose joy. I choose joy. Slowly beginning to rise here. Take your time. Your right hip may feel a little stiff as you rise. Facing the front of your mat, beginning to straighten out both of the legs here. And sitting up tall. Before we come onto the other side, we're going to come into a caterpillar pose with your legs extended in front of you, toes pointing towards the ceiling. Sit up tall to begin. Build just the spine and the neck. You want to keep a nice straight line with that neck and spine. Just hinge at the hips as you walk your hands forward. Continuing to hinge until you find the edge. You'll feel a stretch in the lower back and in the glutes and possibly the hamstrings. Now this is one of those poses where I like to take my blanket because I can do a pretty deep hinge in this pose. So I like to take the blanket and put it on top of my legs to rest the chin. But if you find that you don't have a deep hinge, you can set a pillow or bolster on top of the legs and then rest your chest down. The caterpillar pose, stretching the backs of the legs, the lower back, the glutes. Try to get nice and comfortable here, or as comfortable as you can. Spend this first minute just doing some wiggles and adjusting as needed. And then once you find where you want to spend the next couple of minutes, close the eyes, find stillness, and return to breathing in deeply the affirmation, I choose joy. This is something that I've been meditating on a lot recently, this idea that we get to choose joy in no matter what circumstance you are going through, whether it is an easy time in your life right now where things seem to be going right, or maybe you're going through some difficult circumstances and some trials right now. But choosing joy, no matter what life is throwing your way right now. Life loves to throw curveballs in your direction, in my direction. Choosing joy, no matter what the circumstances. Knowing that all things work out in the end. Breathing in the affirmation, I choose joy. Very slowly begin to rise here on an inhale. You have a blanket on top of the legs, setting it to the side. So we're going to come into that deer pose on the other side. So bending the knees and bring that left leg parallel to the top of the mat and your right leg parallel to the long side of the mat. Now, like I said, I love to use a bolster here in front of me. If you don't have one, taking a couple of pillows and putting it down in front, sitting up tall to begin. And maybe this feels like enough on your left hip. Maybe you don't want to go further. Or maybe on an exhale, you begin to hinge forward over that left leg. For me, this is where I like to stay. But maybe you want to go further and walk to hands to the right.
Your torso may fold in between the left foot, right knee, or maybe even further. But remember, don't force yourself to go too far. Trying to find a comfortable posture. Just finding the edge. Feet are flexed. Close the eyes and return to the breath. As you add on to the affirmation of I choose joy, and I release all that does not serve me. Breathing in the affirmation, I choose joy and release all that does not serve me. Take your time to rise. Removing a pillow or bolster that was out in front of you and straighten those legs. It may feel good to bend the knees and windshield wiper side to side to release any tension from the hips. We're going to take our time to come down onto the back, and we're going to be using the bolster here. It's one of my favorite lower back stretches and heart opening poses called supine, fish pose, or heart opening pose in restorative classes. So we're going to take this bolster, put the short end of the bolster right on the lower part of the back or mid back, whatever feels more comfortable for you. Now, if you have a really tight lower back, you may want to keep the soles of the feet on the mat and your knees bent. I prefer to have my legs extended out, but I do have a bit of flexibility in the lower back. So, but always begin here with feet on the floor, knees bent. Begin to lower down into the supportive fish. Take your time, bringing the mid back, shoulders and head onto the pillow or bolsters. And allow those arms to fall down by the sides, palms facing up or down. And if you desire to straighten the legs, doing so. Some people like to bring the soles of the feet to touch in a reclined butterfly position. Close the eyes. And deepen the breath. In this heart-opening pose, imagining that your heart is literally opening up and inviting joy and happiness into your heart space. With each inhale, breathing in joy into the heart. And exhale, releasing everything that doesn't serve you. Your soles of the feet are touching, straightening the legs. Taking your time to come into your spine. I like to roll over onto one side and press the forearm into the floor and lift up. Scooting your bolster off the mat. And then come down onto the back, allowing your spine to reset, arms by your side in this Shavasana pose for a few moments. We're going to come into a spinal twist. So bring your knees in towards your chest, giving yourself a hug, wrap the arms around the legs and rock side to side. Bringing your arms out to a T or goalposting the arms. We're going to begin to drop the knees towards the left, keeping the right shoulder down onto the floor. Your left hand can come on top of that knee to add some weight. Maybe you send your gaze over towards the right arm. Close your eyes, relax. Inviting joy, peace, and happiness into your heart. Into your mind and into your soul. Just breathe and let go. Releasing that left hand off of the right knee. Take your time, roll into the spine. We're going to come onto the other side, dropping the knees towards the right. That right hand can come on the left knee to add some weight. Maybe you send your gaze over to the left arm. Close your eyes and breathe. And let go. Returning to that affirmation, I breathe in joy and release what doesn't serve me. Take your time to roll into the spine. Giving yourself one last hug. And it may feel good to come into a happy baby from here. So soles of the feet look up to the ceiling. Your feet are flexed. Wrap your arms around the thighs, or you can grab the calves, ankles, or outside of the feet. Just keep the shoulders melted down towards the floor, and your lower back stays pressing down into the floor. I like to rock side to side and happy baby. It just feels so good on the spine and lower back. Maybe you like the stillness. Maybe you want to straighten one leg and bend the other knee. And same thing other side. Maybe you want to straighten both legs. And just do what feels good here. In my studio classes, I always like to offer a yogi's choice for your final pose of yoga. And so maybe if you are familiar with yin and there are other poses or another pose you want to do before you come into Shavasana, maybe you do that. Or maybe you feel content with your practice and are ready to come into your Shavasana. Now Shavasana in English is corpse pose. We try to find stillness in the mind and body, and I encourage you that if you are one who doesn't do a traditional Shavasana, maybe you want to do legs up the wall, do so, or maybe you want to wrap up with a blanket or use your bolster to come back to that supported fish pose. I'm going to have my body in traditional Shavasana, so feet to the bottom corners of the mat, just allowing the feet to fall to the sides and arms by the side, snuggling the shoulder blades under. I like to wrap a blanket over my chest. It gives you a feeling of comfort, really soothing to the central nervous system. Just have a little bit of weight on the chest. But spending these next few moments just getting comfortable and then closing the eyes and allowing your breath to come to its natural state. Allowing your awareness to stay on the breath as you maintain stillness in the body. May you find peace in your body, mind, and spirit. Shavasana. I want to encourage you, if you desire to stay in Shavasana longer, to pause this video and continue with your Shavasana. just breathing and just being. Or slowly bringing movement to fingers and toes and nodding the head side to side. And taking the time to roll over onto the right side into the fetal position and slowly rise. Sitting in comfortable position. Eyes closed, sitting tall and hands to heart center. May you find peace in your body, in your mind, in your spirit. May you seek joy and find joy always in all that life throws your way. And may you see that every curveball that life throws in your direction as a learning experience. Find joy in all things, my friends. Namaste. Thank you so much for joining me for this Yin Yoga practice. I teach Yin Yoga at Ohana Yoga of Monk's Corner, South Carolina on Mondays at 7:15 p.m. and also on Thursdays at 7:15 p.m. Both classes are candlelight Yin Yoga classes, and both classes are 1 hour instead of a 30-minute class like today. So if you enjoyed this class and you are in Monk's Corner, South Carolina, then come join me at Ohana Yoga. I hope to see you soon, my friends. Namaste.